Hello everyone, it's Imran here. Welcome back to another video. So I'm going to react to another fan-made Thomas audio story by Kiefer Adams. This one is episode 5 of season 8 that was uploaded earlier today, which is called Spirit of the Fireflies. So the last one I did react to, what was the last one I reacted to? I can't actually remember the last audio story I reacted to. That's how bad my memory is at the moment. But if I do remember, I will have it up in the top right corner of your screen. So yeah, Spirit of the Fireflies. I know this is going to be a narrow gauge story. It is so it's going to be focused on the Scarlowy Railway. It is, but I actually have no clue what is going to happen in this story. So I'm going to go into this story completely not know uh what is going to go on and what exactly the Spirit of the Fireflies is or are, whatever you like to call it, right there. So yeah, let's just see what's going to happen. Links to I'm reacting to in the description down below as always. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and get straight into this.
Spirit of the Fireflies, written and told by Kiefer Adams. Ever since his crew had played a ghostly trick on him on the old iron bridge, Duncan had
this must take place during season 5
for several days. Rusty, Rheneas, Skarloey and Peter Sam had to admit that it was such a peaceful time on the narrow gauge railway. While Duncan was recovering from his ordeal, Peter Sam was finally allowed out of the yard again. He promised that there would be no more trouble with trucks, or bridges for that matter. One night, Peter Sam was working late.
Right there.
The winch on the incline had been playing up, and Peter Sam was to take supplies to repair it. The moon was full, and Peter Sam was the only engine out and about. As he stopped at a small station halt, Peter Sam was greeted by a swirl of colourful yellow lights dancing all around him.
Fireflies?
"They're beautiful!" he exclaimed. "What are they?" "They're fireflies," explained his driver. "They're little insects that come out at night." Peter Sam couldn't take his eyes off them.
And they light up the night, they do.
But right in front of him, the fireflies took the form of an engine. Peter Sam only saw it for a few seconds before the fireflies parted ways.
Proteus?
When Peter Sam returned, he told the little engines all about the fireflies. Rusty was intrigued. Duncan, remembering all too well about the fireflies and what shape they took on the bridge, looked away. But Rheneas and Skarloey were deeply worried. They knew all too well that there was more to the fireflies than Peter Sam had thought. The next morning, Skarloey was resting in the shed. He was to serve as relief, and luckily he had time to chat to Edward. Thomas was shunting nearby. "Is everything all right with Peter Sam, Skarloey?" asked Edward. "It's just when he brought his train to Crovan's Gate this morning, he was talking about fireflies and how they were swarming around him." "That, I'm afraid, is a legend Rheneas and I know all too well," said Skarloey.
Why Thomas look annoyed?
"How so?" asked Thomas from the corner of the yard. "Years ago," said Skarloey, "we had an engine that used to work in our mines. He was always fascinated with nature, especially the fireflies. Rheneas and I told him to focus on his work and leave the fireflies be, but he wouldn't listen. One night he ventured off to the mines, but he never returned. He didn't heed mine or Rheneas's warnings about the fireflies, and they were so fond of him that they drifted him away, never to be seen again." What absolute nonsense, grunted Thomas. "Bugs can't wisp you away just like that." "Don't you have work to do?" huffed Skarloey. That was Thomas's cue to leave. "It's a puzzler, I suppose," said Edward. "I'm sorry I can't do much, Skarloey. I've got to go."
That's why Thomas looked annoyed. He does have a point. How can fireflies take a heavy engine up a way? I mean, I know for Thomas's type that wouldn't be possible, but how would you do it? How would a firefly kind of whisk an engine away?
The Fat Controller asked me to pick up some new machinery for the quarry. And Edward puffed away, leaving Skarloey alone with his thoughts. That evening, Rheneas and Skarloey were lucky to be working with each other at Boulder Quarry. They were still pleased that Duncan had been quiet for several days, but all the talks of Fireflies had put the little engines on edge. That night, a large order of stone had been made to go to the other side of the little railway. The foreman came to see Rheneas and Skarloey. "The train's all ready," he said. "Which of you's going to take it?" Rheneas and Skarloey gave each other nervous looks. Neither wanted to leave the other behind.
Nope.
But eventually, Rheneas spoke up. "I'll take it," he said. "Do be careful," said Skarloey. "You never know who's going to be out and about tonight." "Come on, Skarloey," said Rheneas. "I didn't just return from the works to be scared away by little bugs." "I'm just saying be careful," reassured Skarloey. Rheneas promised that he would. Before long, Rheneas was coupled up to the train and he set off from the quarry. Skarloey could only watch and worry as his brother slowly puffed away out of sight.
Oh dear.
All was going well as Rheneas puffed
the
through
engine?
the night. But when he reached the same spot Peter Sam had discovered the Fireflies, they appeared and swarmed around him. "What a beautiful sight," said his driver. But clearly Rheneas's crew weren't seeing what the old engine was. The Fireflies started swarming around Rheneas like a small tornado. Rheneas wasn't sure at first, but when he squinted his eyes, he could just make out the shape of a little blue tank engine before him.
It looks a lot like
covered
Rheneas.
entirely by the Fireflies.
I actually want to know, is this character from an unknown railway series character I know about, or if it's just one of Kiefer's OCs?
The engine looked at Rheneas, as if it had a pleading look in its eyes. "Help me," it wheezed.
Ooh.
"What can I do?" cried Rheneas. "You didn't listen to me or Skarloey." Then the Fireflies wrapped around the engine, and as if it was a puppet on strings, they brought him forward.
Ooh.
"Help me!" The engine groaned again. "And I'm telling you I can't," protested Rheneas. Suddenly, the engine was forced forward and bumped into Rheneas. "Help me!" it cried in a pleading tone. "Go away!" shouted Rheneas. He let out a great cloud of steam. "Rheneas," said his driver firmly, "there was no need for that. They weren't causing us harm." Rheneas had his eyes shut at this point, and by the time he had opened them, the Fireflies had scattered. Rheneas puffed cautiously on, unable to block out what he had just witnessed. When Rheneas came home the next day, he was pale and timid. Skarloey was worried, and even the Fin Controller saw it best that Rheneas had some time off work. But Rheneas wanted to get through the day. By this point, Duncan had since recovered from his ghostly ordeal and was feeling a lot better. He had just left Croven's Skate with a passenger train when he saw Rheneas coming towards him with a small goods. "Ghosts aren't so funny to laugh at now, are they?" he whispered darkly as he and Rheneas passed each other.
Really?
Rheneas didn't say a word. Duncan was quite satisfied. He knew for certain that Rheneas's ghostly experience was all too real.
Wow. That engine. So engines can be carried away, they can, just like how that blue one was right there. And some in the Thomas fandom think that old wise engines like Edward, Toby, Skarloey and Rheneas aren't allowed to get scared because it portrays them as wimps. Well, let me tell you something. It's okay for old wise engines to be scared. Like Toby's discovery, Toby had had every right to be frightened. I mean, he's having to spend the night in an old abandoned mine that's supposedly haunted by a ghost engine. I mean, how would you feel if you you had to spend a night at an old mine and you've been told a ghostly story about it. Quite frightened, I'd reckon. 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 And as for the old bridge, I think I'm going to say it's controversially. I actually quite like the old bridge. I know some of them hate it because of how Scar Lowe's character is portrayed, but in all honesty, could you blame Scar Lowe? Just because Scar Lowe and Rhaenyra are old wise engines doesn't mean that they're scared. They're scared. I mean, this completely justifies what happened right there. Justifies Rhaenyra's decision to be scared. He's an old wise engine, but even things like that can really spook him. I mean, going back to the old bridge. I mean, like if Scar Lowe, I'm recording. Scar Lowe. What was I going to say? I guess what I was going to say because of them interrupting me. Scar Lowe. I mean, he almost fell off a bridge. I mean, he was that close from falling off the bridge in the old bridge, and obviously he was given a bit of PTSD from it. I mean, if I was him, I'd probably be terrified to cross the bridge right there. But the old bridge also not only showed Scar Lowe's more vulnerable side it is right there, it also showed him that even though despite he was a bit nervous to cross the old bridge again, he was willing to go to how willing to the lengths he's going pretty much help his friend to help his friends, as we saw what he did with Rhaenyra right there. I did say to them I was recording, and like you can still hear that background noise right there. Anyway, but that's my opinion on old wise engines. How I think it's okay for even some of the oldest and wisest engines to be scared, and this story definitely proved it. You know what? I think I'm just going to end the recording right here, right now. If you do want to check out my previous Thomas reactions, whether it's an audio story or trans adaptation, I will have a playlist up in the top right corner of your screen right now. And that was actually quite a good story. It was right there. Quite kind of a nice sequence, kind of in between story between Duncan gets spooked and Rossi on the boulder. I really like that. So I can't wait for tomorrow's story. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit that like button for me. Let me know in the comments down below what you thought of this audio story I reacted to. Also let me know in the comments down below what other videos you want me to react to next. Follow me on Instagram, follow me on TikTok. Links to both of them will be in the description down below. Share this video, subscribe for new here, ring that bell to get notified when I upload new videos when I post in the community tab, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye!